Baby, we're back. We're fucking back and back in action. And Bitcoin's done really actually not much since yesterday. Despite actually having a couple $1,000 move to the downside, there is a big focus recently in the social media venues on this massive trader on Twitter who's been putting up like $500 million to $1 billion long positions, and he seems to be getting chopped up in what is more or less a very short-term range. So no different than anyone else, of course. At the end of the day, there's no such things as smart money or dumb money. It's just more money and less money. That's what it comes down to. What?
Be a winner, not a loser.
Elsa says to be a winner and not a loser. Well, that's great advice. That also goes alongside her other advice when it comes to trading, which is don't lose money. Very clever. Yes. We need more of that. What else would we have done without this sage piece of advice? Amazing. Just fucking amazing. Anyways, I want to say good morning to everyone out there in cryptocurrency land. This is beautiful. Slizzy says Krown must take a fat dump right before the stream. Actually, I do. This is my pre-stream ritual every fucking time. That's what happens because here's what I do. First thing in the morning, I wake up, I eat some burgers plus patties plus eggs. Today I had 2 burgers and then 5 eggs, I think it was. And then I drink my salt and creatine, and then I have an iced Americano, and then the shits come. And then it's stream time. And that's where we're here right now. What's wrong with you eating right now? I'm talking about what happened before, not what's happening right now. This is not like not a big issue. Anyways, GM to everyone out there, J3F, Seth Shepard, he says, don't lose your trades. That's right. Just don't lose money. You're going to be good. You're going to be fine. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know in LA Palsicano. Good morning to you as well. Why the hell would you leverage with that much money, dude? You already won. Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's all an addiction at the end of the day. But who knows really what that's all about, because I haven't seen that guy's name around before. So the sort of conspiratorial portion of my mind says, this is just a marketing operation by the Hyperliquid team, and it's a very, very successful marketing operation because holy shit, man, that is actually insane. But yeah, man, the way that like you see this happen every cycle, you see this happen in other sectors as well, where people make it really, 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 really big in a short amount of time, and then they continue doing what they know because that's what got them there. That's what got them, that amazing success. And if that success was built off of, perhaps not actually having like a legitimized strategy that you actually back tested and all these sort of things, then of course over a long period of time you can always expect mean reversion on your account equity, which in that case makes it drawing it back down. Sunshine Girl, good morning to you. Lev Ashen, good morning to you as well, sir. We need some more abundance. Yes, that's the issue right now. We need more abundance. Bitcoin's at $109,000 and it's not abundant enough. If we were more abundant, then this thing would be going to the fucking moon and beyond. The price literally wouldn't even have numbers on it. It would just say abundance. And then we'd all say, guys, I got some abundance. I'm looking for some abundance over here. Give me some more abundance over there. The abundance is fucking abundance, and I'm spending my abundance wherever the fuck I want. Good morning, Mr. Van Duysen and Rishab and B-Rap and Michael B and Grandpa and Mechanic. And Crypto Clown World. Always love those emoticons as well, man. He says, GM Krown, I'm smoking a fat doob after I just got done edging to your intro. All right, nice. Well, I guess that goes alongside the theme of this channel. I mean, I'm talking about my dumps. You're talking about masturbation. It is what it is, man. Anything goes here. It's all good. And the fireman says he chooses rich. That's right. All you need to do is just choose rich. No problem. All good after that. Shout out to our good friend Nick and just their whole team, man. Those guys are awesome. I love those guys. You got Nick, you got Pio, you got Clemente, and then I feel like I'm missing someone, but more importantly, I really like their team. If you're looking for some good old crypto entertainment, check them out. I think that they're most active now on Twitter. Actually, I even saw a rap recently from Pio Vincente, and it was good. Honestly, these guys are like actually talented. It's pretty fucking cool. Anyways, Nom says let's fucking go. I need my new apartment. That's right. We need some new apartments. We need some more abundance. Is what we need. Yes, J3F abundance coin now trending. That's right. We need some abundance going on. I will say that guy is the abundance guy, the abundance manifesting Jesus guy. He's great. We were babysitting one of Elsa's dogs this past weekend, and the dog was actually having like a little bit of an issue. He was, I don't know, was he like seizing or something? I think he was having seizures or something. What do we do? Well, I do what I know what to do, which is put on the abundance man. And you know what? That dog got real fucking happy, real fucking fast. And it was all about cutting out the negativity, snip, 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 fucking pull it out, pluck it, all of these sort of things. The techniques work. The results speak for themselves. I can confirm the dog is now indeed happy and with less negativity in its life. I love it, man. More than anything, I love reading the comments on those videos too, man. It's just like, it's like, oh my God, there are so many people like this who exist in the world, and it's truly concerning. It'd be like the video title would be like, claim your financial abundance now. And then you look at the comment section and they'd be like, oh my God, this really works. I finally got my, like the government finally gave me assistance for X, Y, and Z, even though I didn't really need it. It's like, oh, that kind of abundance, I guess. Abundance from someone else's abundance. Yes, we're redistributing the abundance, I suppose. Anyways, dogs know more than us. They definitely know some things more than us. That's for sure. They know when a fucking natural disaster is coming. So there is that. Grandpa says dog is gay. Elsa's dog very possibly might be gay, actually, because he has this massive Winnie the Pooh doll that he just fucks all the time. And obviously Winnie the Pooh, I can only assume is a male bear or whatever he is. I don't. I mean, what even really is he, to be honest? Like, he's not the color of a bear. He's fucking honey colored. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Dogs can lick their own peepees. Yeah, I mean, that's great. Wish I was a dog. Rye says, here we go again. Indeed, man. Here we go on Twitter. And Rafito says, shout out to the X crew. Yeah, man, I'm really enjoying the X streams. In case you didn't know, on YouTube, I have been going live on X during any time I record a video for YouTube. So those pre-recorded videos that you see on YouTube are done live on X almost always. It's just kind of like a chill hangout session. It's not like a request an infinite amount of highly esteemed shitcoins, but just more so relax, hang back, and all good. Slizzy says, I actually had a gay dog. I mean, it's not impossible, man. It is natural for some to be gay. I could say some terrible but true things, but I will hold off on that because this is YouTube. Anyways, Winnie the Pooh is a honey bear. Everyone knows that. Yeah, but let's ask chat. What is Winnie the Pooh, and is he a real bear or fictional? That's what I want to know. Like, is a honey bear like a real thing? It doesn't sound like a real thing. Well, I know that he's a fictional character, like duh, but he is a stuffed. Yes, okay, we know this. The real bear, okay. Black bear, okay. So yeah, didn't even get the color right. Just another case of a white man stealing a black man's job in media. Terrible shit, man. Selin May, your dog is gay, says ZY on Twitter. Fair enough. I guess that could also, happen. Definitely possible, I guess. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Anyways, Mexicant Ivan says, what is this live? This is why I followed. Lamo. Nice one, man. I'm glad that you followed for those exact reasons. Memorex, have you heard? I have not heard of that. Samuel Adams, and you are also a president of former times, aren't you? Sam Fragnosi says, I played him for our 14-month-old last night to put her to bed. Wait, the abundance guy. I mean, it is really calming, to be honest. Like, if I need to go to bed, it's a lot of the time I like to watch it a little bit before bed. I don't know, just puts you into a nice relaxed state. It is good. It is good, even though it is like pretty fucking weird. But hey, man, if anything can help me sleep, I'm all for that, man. I'm all for that. More sleep is good. That's why my whoop age is so fucking low. Anyways. Best chat ever, says Rafito. Yeah, man, the X chat is always really, really good. I really, really enjoy that one. What's up, Mr. VR Emmerich? Good morning to us, man. What lamp mean? What does lamp mean? I don't know. Anyways, for today's video, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to... Hey, what the fuck is this? Oh, derp. I wanted to go over or revisit something that we've looked at in past years, and that I've actually saw, I believe, a Twitter post last night from... Maybe it was Tom Krown. I think maybe he was like quoting someone else's work, but I'll give him credit for this one. And it was looking at the results post Bitcoin conference dates, because the Bitcoin conference actually starts today, right? The 27th is the first day. They got some speakers coming up. I don't think any of the super big ones speak today, but I might be wrong on that. At any rate, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into ChatGPT and say, hey, can you please let me know the exact starting dates of the Bitcoin conferences Wait, what? Conferences in the past. Let's say the past. Let's go back to 2018 because I know that one very, very well. The past 8 years. Yes. Okay. Let's see what these dates are. Can't always trust ChatGPT with this kind of stuff, though. Yeah, I love Tom Krown. Tom seems like a legitimate dude. I really, really like him. But unfortunately, I haven't actually had the opportunity to meet him in person just yet. But let's see. Okay, so we'll start from 2017. 2017 was January 17th. That is correct. That is correct. Let's go back over here. Let me get rid of all these lines. These are not relevant to the conversation. And that was January 17th, 2017. Okay, January 17th. 2017. So let's see. Oh, that's way back in the beginning of the year. Holy shit. 17 was right here. Boom. Okay. So we can already see this one actually probably okay, about a month out or a couple months out. Overall, this would be the ideal scenario. Let's go on to the next one. 2018, January 18th, 2018. Is that right? That doesn't sound right to me. That doesn't sound right. I feel like it was later than this. Well, I'm going to go with that one and just see what pops up anyways. So we'll go to January 2018. I'm almost certain that it happened like over here or something in May of 2018. I'm going to ask chat just to be 100% clear. Maybe we should go to Google, but let's see. What would be the right way to phrase this? Are you sure about the dates in 2018? Because I'm almost positive it was around, I'm almost positive it was around either, no, it wasn't March. I think it was over here, like May, sometime in May, around May of 2018. Please confirm. Anyone bullish to the South Shepherd? I mean, overall, the trend is obviously to the upside, and that is bullish, but can you be looking for a pullback and still be bullish? I mean, I think that's probably the right call, to be honest. Okay. Apologies for any confusion earlier. Upon reviewing the details, you're correct. Yeah, that's what I thought. Fucking bastard. No, it's saying the same thing. Like, what? That can't be right. I'm almost positive it happened in May, but oh well, fuck it. All right, let's go with that one anyways then. January 18, and that was where? That was, oh Jesus, this one's going to be very bad. Right here. So a little bit of a rally into that one, and then boom, mega down. All right, moving on from there, we got 2019, January 16th. January 16 of 2019. So that's going to be over here. January 16 of 2019. Yeah. Yeah, that one not super interesting, to be fair. Let's see what we got on the next one. 2020, that would be January 15th. Again, these don't sound right to me, to be honest, but maybe I can check another way because this is going to bug me for a long time. I believe it was January 19 here, January 19. So this was leading up into the old Rona dump there. Anyways, moving on from that one, we have, that was January 15th of, sorry, January, hold on. January 15th, sorry, a few days earlier. Okay, a few days early. So right about here. So a little bit of a rally into that one and then sell off. 2021, we got June 4th. Okay, this is starting to sound a little bit more right. Let's see. 2021, we got June. So that's going to be, I know exactly where that is. June is coming in. Hold on. June 14th, I think it was. Right here. Yeah, the top of that rally as well. Or sorry, no, June 4th. So that's actually right here. I'm not seeing anything that's actually super interesting from this just yet, but I would like to verify these dates. April 6th of 2022. Let's see what this one's showing. April 6th should be right about here. Yes. Okay. Boom. Down. May 18th, 2023. All right. May 18, 2023 is going to be somewhere over here. Was it May 18? May 18, yeah. Okay, May 18. Let's see. Okay, boom. And then I'm actually going to check in on the chats right now. Let's see if anyone's corrected it thus far, just to potentially get that out of the way. Arturo says Google says January 18th in Miami for 2018. Okay. All right, fair enough. Do they repaint the dates after after the event. That would be terrible. Anyways, where do we leave off? Yes. Okay. 18th of May in 2023. Okay. 25th of July, 2024. Okay, that sounds about right. 25th of July. We are getting closer. 25th of July. Yes, right there. Boom. Okay. Just an overall corrective period, to be fair. Again, not sure I see the relevance of this one just yet. And then May 27th of 2025, which is today, actually. So fair enough. All right, let's pull back and let's go to a higher term time frame. Let's see if any of these things, have any sort of rhyme or reason alongside them. We can see this one over here. I mean, that was just straight up. So I think the narrative falls apart there. 2018, yes, definitely down for the next month. Actually, big down for the next month. Let's see. Let's go from high to low on this move. Let me get my measuring tool out. And let's go with the price range here. And we're going to go from the event itself down to the next low, minus 56%. Bad. Anyways, this next one over here from 2019, this one effectively marking off the low. Yes, things did trade a little bit lower than that, but this was more or less a great time to be getting in. A corrective period did, of course, result after this, but like I said, that was an opportunity rather than a failure. This one over here, obviously going up, leading up into the high before the old Rona dump. So up 20% first and then down big. This one over here, more or less marking off the lows again, but an overall corrective period. And from that point to the next major low, minus 20%. So actually not bad, actually very bad. This one over here from that date to the next major low, about 45%. So very bad again as well. This one over here, marking off again a corrective period, does come down almost 10%. Then more or less ranges for the next 4 or 5 months. This one over here, again, corrective period. I'm seeing a lot of corrective periods soon to follow after that. This one coming down about 20%. So what more often than not happens? Down, 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 down. Okay, so the last 1, 2, 3, 4 have been down. This one over here definitely, this one over here went up first, yes, then came down a little bit later. But that was a black swan, so I don't think that that's really a fair one to include. This one over here, yes, it did come down soon after that, but it really wasn't that much, to be fair. This was a great accumulation period. And then, of course, you got 2018 mega fucking down, and then 2017 basically marking off the low. Yes, things did correct back down around there a little bit later, but, I wouldn't have necessarily wanted to have been selling right there. I'll put it that way. So, yeah, fair enough. Anyways, as far as this goes, we can see that I swear, this is going to bug me for so long, man. I'm nearly positive the Bitcoin conference was in May or July. No, it was in like May, April area of 2018. I'm almost positive of this. It can't be that. Fair enough, man. Hodling Bitcoin on Twitter says, now we know where Krown's recent low time preference, don't risk all my profits bias originates. Elsa's trading advice. Exactly. Don't lose money. That's the most sincere advice that you can possibly. That's actually Warren Buffett's advice. He's one of the best investors of all time, in fact. So it's actually not, it's not bad advice. Like that's what the best of the best of the best says, basically. But yeah. It said there was another conference that year. Okay. Let's see. Yes, there was a Bitcoin related event in May of 2018. It might have been a different blockchain. Oh, okay. Yeah, April 25th of 2018. But that is technically not the Bitcoin conference, so can't really include that one. Do need to retain uniformity here. But yeah, that's the one that I was thinking of. That's where effectively the death cross happened in 2018, somewhere right around about here. And then price was just down only since then. So yeah, this conference over here also pretty fucking bad, to be fair. Theoretically a little, or not theoretically, but more aggressively worse in the short term, that's for sure. But yeah, Lauren Buffet. Yeah, fair enough, man. He also says to not invest in crypto. He's probably right too. Maybe. Look, like I think Bitcoin's probably proven itself now. It's been around for what, 15 years since 2009. So 15, 16 years. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's proven itself. So, if he says don't invest in it, I think that's just related to his own preferences. They've never really been like tech guys anyways, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger actually is the one that I really, really like listening to. But yeah, Will there be strippers at the convention? Well, it is in Vegas, so high probability that they will be very nearby, actually. So fair enough. But yeah. Anyways, we could say that generally the Bitcoin conference, has prices traded lower than when the Bitcoin conference happened relatively soon after the Bitcoin conference. This one happens almost immediately. This one, again, nearly immediately over the next 4 weeks. This one was literally immediately for the next 5 or 6 weeks, just straight down. This one over here, actually the next week was down, but the next major low was a few weeks away. This one over here did go up first, so fair enough. That's the first one where we don't necessarily see that. This one over here would be the second one where we do see a short-term correction, yes, but again, it's so small that I don't think it matters. This one over here definitely matters, and this one over here would again go into that same category. So 3 out of the last 8 were more or less like really, 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 really good buy areas that did not experience any drawdown effectively, no more than like 5% drawdown. As far as the other ones go, they have, multi digits of drawdown. We're talking on the lower end about 20%, on the upper end 57% almost. So yeah, not looking great there, but fair enough. Perhaps I'll tighten up this analysis for another video and go a little bit deeper into it, but that's just kind of my cursory thoughts on it. Thought it'd be a fun thing to look at today because the Bitcoin conference does of course start today, and Bitcoin's right at the top side of its range right here. I'm generally curious actually, for these moves that did, for these dates that did happen into a rally, what typically happened after that? Actually, almost none of them happened into a rally except for this one. That one dumped afterwards, so we're just going to ignore that one. This one also happened with a rally, actually, so again, major dump, I guess. So those would be the only, I guess, comparable ones in terms of former price action, but fair enough. Anyways, just going over Bitcoin here, I just want to go over the very, 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 very important and cursory stuff on the higher term timeframes. The daily timeframe, again, price action pivot on Sunday's low. As long as Bitcoin's above there, Bula still got, the ball in their court as far as even the daily trend goes for potential for continuation from where we're at right now. I still think that continuation of new highs from here is a little bit less likely than a pullback, perhaps a little bit deeper than where we're at right now. But again, I don't want to be misheard on this. Pullback does not mean major macro reversal into bear market. If you're looking for a pullback in an overall uptrend, doesn't make you a fucking bearish. You are a fucking moron if you think that way. I'm sorry, but it's just like I've read the same comment too many times at this point, and that's a God's honest truth. You are going to get pullbacks in general uptrends. It's called higher lows, and that's typically how things continue upwards and onwards over a longer period of time. It is good. It's a good thing overall, but technically speaking, cannot be even looking for a general pullback until Bitcoin again trades below that Sunday low, referencing this price action pivot right here. Got a lot of questions about the price action pivot yesterday. You can try it out for free. It's in the link in the description below for Teachable. You get 7 days free. You'll figure it out by then if it's relevant to you or not. I happen to think that it's very relevant because it's just super easy to have algorithmically defined pivots for price action. Pretty simple. So if and when Bitcoin does actually break down below this Sunday low, at that point I would be looking for Bitcoin to come back down closer to 101 to 102,000. Just this lower block right here. I'll mark it off with a nice blue box as it stands. Something like this. Let's call it 101 to 102 region. And again, that would be the potential for another, at least a bounce down around here, perhaps even another major higher low, and perhaps a new high could be produced from that. But I would be cognizant of that for the short term. We are seeing stochastic momentum oscillators on pretty much all of the higher term timeframes now suggest downside momentum. Daily timeframe finally coming down here and finally also losing the critical zone for the first time in, I believe it was 36 days, which is the second longest time in the past 10 years that it's been in the critical zone consecutively. That one remains down as long as Bitcoin's below 111,500, $111,500, by the way. 2-day time frame is also coming down below 111,250, so about the same price right there. This one is not closing tonight; it's closing tomorrow night. The 3-day time frame is also going to be coming down as long as Bitcoin's below 110 or so, which it is a little bit below right now, but lot can happen in this next day. 5-day time frame will actually start to point down below 106, which I do think is of interest here, because where is that last price action pivot on the daily? It's right here at effectively 106.5. So if you see that level violated, if you see it absolutely fucking molested and raped and killed and then raped again, then you're going to see not just the daily trend start to reverse a little bit around, but you're also going to see the 5-day stochastic momentum also to cross to the downside for the first time since early April, when this rally really began. And that would actually likely conclude the 5-day 5 EMA setup as well. I won't reference that on this video, but I imagine they will work together, and we can go a little bit deeper if it does make sense on, maybe tomorrow's video or Friday's video, something like that. Anyways, or Thursday's video. Anyways, from there we got the weekly. Weekly's still going to remain up, but again, getting into some pretty crazy territory. So, this rally coming up to basically the top end of this, what I consider still, a major range until Bitcoin can really close emphatically above that January high. What's a pullback here into a higher low and then continue on with the market higher later? Again, that would look a lot more healthy to me. All Bitcoin needs to do in order to remain in a powerful position at the end of May leading into June is just close above about 102,600. That would be the monthly stochastic momentum pivot. I think even if about 102,500 or so. So Bitcoin can close above there. Again, it can afford a little bit of a short-term pullback. That's fine, but I would be looking for that to get picked up and likely marched on to new highs probably in June, I wouldn't be surprised to see like a 120 read for Bitcoin. So fair enough. And moving on from there, did we already go over this? Yeah, actually, we basically already went over this. We can also reference the daily HPDR. I like the confluence here with where the median is. The median is coming in around about 108, and that is kind of like a good short-term bias buster for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does close the daily below there, I think that it will be a foregone conclusion, personally speaking, that Bitcoin will take out Sunday's low. Again, we're kind of cutting hairs here because at the end of the day, they're pretty close to each other anyways. So it's like how aggressive do you want to be? I don't think that's necessarily super wise to be like super aggressive in this region. So yeah, anyways, that pretty much does it for Bitcoin. I'm going to get over here to these super derps, the super chats, and we'll look at some good old shit coins to start this one off. I see, first off, Elsa has sent me a piece of news, and it lets us know, it conditions us to know that the corona epidemic is coming again. And you need a vaccination. Yet again, the coronavirus is expected to cause another wave of some kind of epidemic. Yes, of course, I know. What do you think of that, sir?
It's coming again and we're gonna die.
It's coming again and we're gonna die. Huh? Well, we did die the first time, that's true. Is a pullback the same thing as a rub and tug? No. I think you're referring to a polling method. Anyways, we'll go with Steven Schickman first. He's number one as always. We're going to be looking at Doggy weekly, monthly, very high term timeframes, which I do like. Doggy actually has the potential to put in a higher low right here. Major moving averages are switching into a full on bullish posturing, except for the 200 simple as it is right now. Long term, I still think that this one will get above 30 cents. The question to me would be, is this one going to correct first down to like 20 cents? Or is it just going to put in a higher low here and pop back up above a quarter and then confirm that move to like 31, 32, 33 cents, something like that? I actually do think that it is likely to pull back, but not necessarily in like the very short term. Perhaps early on in June, I would be expecting a move maybe a little bit lower towards 20 cents or so. But ultimately, this one, like I still think that the reversal is real. I still think that this is the next higher low being put in right here. Even the price action pivots is starting to suggest that, hey, once the monthly closes, this will be the next pivot, aka the next higher low. So I would be cognizant of that. Yeah, I'd definitely be open to a short-term pullback, but ultimately, like I said, I do think that this one will trade up into the 30s, like 31, 32, 33, probably. I mean, maybe even by the end of June, but I would think like sometime during the summer would be my guess. So as far as that goes, I'm looking for some hidden divergences possible here. Daily actually will have hidden bullish divergence if it can confirm a local low here, but that won't happen until this thing closes back above 23.5 cents. So it's got a little bit of work to do right there. Let's see. Let's Well, I think that basically gets it for the old doggy coin. Yazan Al Sharif says Ethereum Classic USD. Okay. Can't say that this is a highly requested cryptocurrency, but but fair enough. Looking at this one, I mean, at best, it's just one major, massive macro range, right? You didn't give me any timeframes to work with, so I'm just gonna go off of the higher term timeframes here. You got all your lows basically coming in here, so at least it hasn't broken down to new lows in the past 3-4 years. Yeah, 3 years, 3 to 4 years now. So I guess, down in this zone right here, I'd be looking more for lows rather than this thing to actually break on through. Because I mean, if it didn't break in 2022 or even over here, I mean, I don't think it's probably going to bounce again at least. But yeah, as far as this one goes, it's just an uninteresting chart, man. I mean, while the rest of the market was busy making new all-time highs in 2024, this thing did not. So yeah, definitely not super interesting, but at least it does hold higher lows from cycle to cycle. So there is that, like, it's not super shitty, but it's just like, you can continue on in this range for eternity. And what other opportunities are you missing by holding this highly esteemed piece of technology that is definitely the real Ethereum as well? That's a question that only you can answer, sir. But as of right now, I wouldn't even treat this one as like quote unquote good as long as you're below 23.5. Above 23.5, I do think you'll get another move to the top side of your range, like $40. So, that's nearly a 2x move. That's pretty big. But yeah, man, just a very uninteresting chart during a time when there are just significantly better performers pretty much everywhere. Mostly everywhere. Again, going from cycle to cycle. Amin Hafiz says, where plumes will going? Where a plume will going? Yes, herp and derp. We looked at this one over the weekend's Q&A. It does still seem to be holding the lower range right here. Or I guess, wait, I'm almost positive I had this one charted. Maybe it's on this chart right here. I don't know what this is referenced because that's obviously wrong. So we'll go with this one. I do think at best it's kind of ranging right here. Obviously, compared to most shitcoins, it is looking better just because it hasn't made new lows for this year. It's been consistently putting in higher lows, but absolutely must hold on to this range low at 15 cents. And I do think that you are going to bounce here, to be fair. And I do think that you're probably going to bounce towards like 16.5, 17 cents or so. But again, not super interesting for the long term as long as you're caught between the boundaries of almost 21 cents to the upside versus 15 cents to the downside. You are at the lower boundary right now. You're about to see stochastic momentum turn up as well, I imagine. So, I think the conditions are ripe for a bounce here, but beware, like if this thing does break below 15 cents on a daily closing basis, I think that it has a lot of room to fall, somewhere between like 13 to even as low as 11 and a half. So yeah, that's kind of the issue with looking at these newer ones is that when they do break down, it happens real fucking fast, and it's a big move as well. So yes, that plume will going. Anyways, Hubris of God says TMC Stock Weekly. Nice. I like looking at the stonks today. Especially since yesterday we didn't even see U.S. markets open. Anyways, the metals company, very good. This one's actually resolving a macro accumulation phase here. This representing the years between 2021 till present, basically. Obviously, the monthly is also completing its own reversal. I mean, you got your higher low here. Obviously, this is a higher high compared to all of these back here, so it must be a higher high. Thus, you have the reversal confirmed. Do you get a short-term pullback at around 5.25? Sure, yeah, but as far as the long term goes, I'd respect the reversal, man. Like, this is a long term accumulation phase. It is bullish, and it's especially bullish as long as you're above like 280. I mean, it can afford a pullback after maybe a little bit more of a move to the upside. Like I said, somewhere around like, did I say 5.25? I think I said 5.25, but I would actually have to extend that as a range from 5.25 all the way up to 560. I do think that you will put in a local high somewhere around there and then come back down and then try for a higher low and continue up with this nice rally for this thing. So yeah, not bad. Not bad. Alex says, "Hey Krown, last time I requested a chart with Matic Matic was around 4 cents. Holy shit, man! Can you do a long-term chart on SEI?" Sure. I mean, if there's like history here, I think that this one has some history. No, well, okay, yeah, this is a monthly chart. Long term, this one's probably headed to 4 cents. Really bad, man. Really, really bad. Again, we're talking about a market cycle in which almost everything in their mother made new highs and even higher lows in 2024 and especially in 2025. And this thing just made lower lows and lower highs that whole way through, barring its first mega pump up over here in March of 2024. So to me, it's like, look, there's going to be much better things to be focusing on. I do have this red circle marked out over here. I do think this would be kind of the extent of any sort of short-term rally if it even gets there. But like I said, man, whether this thing rallies up towards 33 to 40 cents, somewhere in that pocket there, I don't know, but I'd feel a lot more confident saying if you did get a rally around there, that would be a great place to potentially offload and get ready for continuation of trend. In this case, that would be downside. It'd be pretty bad, man. I think that this one probably even gets to your 4 cent number. It'll be like full circle. Okay, maybe not 4 cents, but back down around 10, 11 cents, something like that. Maybe over a long enough period of time, it does head to 4 cents. But yeah, respect the trend. This one's got a pretty nasty downtrend, especially as long as you're below about 40 cents. So I would be looking at anything around there as highly skeptical, and I really wouldn't even switch around until bullish until I see at least a weekly uptrend emerge, and you don't even have that right now. I mean, this is literally another weekly lower high right here. So yeah, fair enough. So if you do get another extension of a move, just kind of wrapping this one up, like let's just call it mid 30s to 40 cent region. Other than that, I don't know if this is the Matic, sir. I don't know if this is the same thing. Mr. Sam Frangosi, good morning to you, ma'am. USD versus Japanese yen. Okay, nice. It's been a while since I looked at this one. It's interesting now that TradingView actually has featured charts. Getting their marketing team in the game, I guess. Anyways, you're looking at 1 hour time frame. Okay, so very, very low term time frames. But as far as let me actually go to this chart. Just think that it's going to be a little bit easier to look at from this particular view. Hourly time frame. I mean, look, this is a good place for another short-term local and lower high. You're already seeing massively new highs on the hourly RSI compared to the last high, which was from the 26th. Oh, sorry, actually, that does not count because this is a higher high. All right, yeah, so it's bucking that trend a little bit. Fair enough. At any rate, if it does have continuation, man, I'd be looking somewhere around 144, basically. Yeah. I'd actually say that this one is in a bit of a short-term reversal posture. You do have a higher high here. You don't have a higher low just yet. At some point, it very likely will swing back for another higher low, but does it continue first and then do that, or does it do it from here? I think it probably tries another move higher first, but I might be wrong about that one. I'm really, really unsure about that. This is relatively lower term timeframes. I need to go to the daily to get a general view of this thing. And yeah, daily timeframe has hidden bullish divergence potential right here. It will be confirmed as soon as tonight's closure, basically here or higher above 143.25. If you see something like that, yeah, I think that you're going to hit even a little bit above 144. Maybe this even is like the next major higher low. Definitely possible as well. So yeah, man, had to go a little bit higher there just because, well, it's hard to see, but yeah, again, that's pending today's closure in order to confirm that. That would make the call a lot easier. And then also we should go over like what if met would just be disastrous for this thing. Back down below like 142.75 would be terrible, but I actually think it's more likely to bounce here, to be honest. Would like to see that daily though first. Ray now says, hey Krown, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well as well, sir. Could you please provide an analysis of IDFC Bank? Okay, IDFC. Okay. I guess this is an Indian bank or something like this. Anyways, I'll read the rest of this. Monthly and weekly, Indian stock market. Okay, nice. Thank you for specifying that. Oh, and now that I recognize it, the super chat is in rupees, so of course it's Indian. All right. Monthly and weekly. Okay, let's go monthly first, or sorry, weekly first. Did have some hidden bearish divergence there, but not a believer in this one. Yeah. I think the monthly will play out over the weekly. The monthly has hidden bullish divergence come off this last low. It is a general uptrend over the past 5 years, so I do like that. I'd really prefer to see the monthly close above about 68.25 if it can do that, which is really not that far away from where it's at right now. If it can do that, I think that this rally extends a lot into the deep 70s, like 77 to 80 bucks. But that's a monthly, that can take a long time to play out. Weekly time frame, yeah, technically you do have that hidden bearish divergence right here, but I would say that this is I mean, you could argue that this move's already played out. I wouldn't really get like super bearish off of this, especially as long as things are above last week's low. Below last week's low, okay, short-term correction maybe down to like 63 and a quarter. If things get really crazy, maybe $60 even, but I think that the monthly is going to play out over the weekly in this case, especially with the quarterly as of right now being a bullish engulfing dildo. So, again, it's a long quarter left to go. We still got another month and 4 days, but I'm going to favor the higher term timeframes over the lower term timeframes and say, coming back up, somewhere around this region here, probably just continuing on with the overall trend is going to be the name of the game. So yeah. Ray now said, he's back. He says, Krown, I made a decent living following you over the last 6 years. Fuck yeah, man. Would you love your insight on how you'd play a sub 5-figure portfolio in the final phase of this bull run? So the amount of your portfolio, I honestly think, is less important than like your financial needs. Like that's what really drives the equation on like how aggressive or conservative you should be. But my stance on this market is that we've seen the majority of the gains already, and that this market cycle is, I think, very likely over before, like extremely likely over before the end of this year. I think it even ends sometime between like August and perhaps October now, something like that. I did have to adjust that a little bit from previous, but anyways, so that would be my sort of general idea. So in my opinion, if like assuming that you already have all of your living expenses and all these sort of things like covered, at least for like another year, then, a 5-figure portfolio, whatever it is, portfolio, and it sounds like you've been on this channel for a while. So if you've been on this channel for a while, you know that my sort of disposition since basically the beginning of 2023, even a little bit before that, is this is a bull market, things are going up, and well, you want to be on the buy side. So I'm guessing you probably around during that time as well. And I'm going to assume that you were probably doing something similar to myself. So in that case, I would say the same thing as what I say for myself, man, which is, look, this whole time from here to here, like fucking great. I'm really happy about that. Like I'm really, really happy about that. At this point, I do think that things are getting towards the more risky portion of this cycle, and my personal issues that I've made, or my personal mistakes that I've made in the past, were getting too aggressive near the tail end of the cycle, which, yes, you can get some great returns during that time, because that's typically the time that things go most insane. But the problem is that the market will flip around very, very, very quickly and likely eat into a lot of those profits, which is exactly what's happened to me in past cycles. So for myself, I've made a note for this particular cycle to not get greedy during this time, not using leverage, not using really like anything, mostly just hold, or just actually fully holding at this point almost. And so, yeah, like what I can tell you what I would do. I can't really tell you what you should do because I'm not a financial advisor. And also I don't know like the very specifics of your situation, but that's where I'm coming from. I'm looking at this as a time to be protective of all the gains that you made over the past few years. I don't think that this is the time to be like extra risk taking. The problem is that it's not necessarily a problem, but what you're likely to see across social media venues, assuming that you're on Twitter, YouTube, these sort of places, is that this is the time when people start to really post like these massive P&Ls. I mean, we just saw it with the hyper liquid whale recently, putting up tremendously massive positions and having like humongous P&Ls swinging both ways. And that makes you feel like, oh shit, this cycle is like probably over soon, and everyone else is making so much money and I haven't made, as much money as them, and blah, 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 blah. And then you start doing some dumb shit. So personally, I want to be taking the risk down massively at this point. So yeah. So fair enough. All right. TNT Sailing says BNB mid to long. Okay, BNB mid to long. Let's see. Mid to long. I'm going to go with like a daily to a weekly. Honestly, one of the best charts. I say this as someone who has always thought that this is like a little bit bullshit, but uptrends on all time frames that matter. Monthly. I mean, I believe we marked off this area last time we looked at this, which was a couple weeks ago. Marking off about 680, 682 region. You might get a pullback in June to 640, 650-ish region, but I think that this thing is ripe for the breaking overall. This is an example of a really, 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 really powerful shitcoin that has uptrends on all time frames that matter and continues to make new highs and new lows from cycle to cycle. So that is always, always, always a good thing. So yeah, boiling it down, yeah, I do think that you could a pullback in June, maybe like 640, 650-ish region. But the second that you see, higher term timeframes closing above basically kind of where it's at right now, 680 or so, I think this thing goes for new all-time highs. You even have a drive of hidden bullish divergence being formed right here. So at the end of this month, it'll be fully confirmed, assuming that this thing even just closed above like 650. So you got some leeway right there. Again, a lot of things can happen in 4.5 days, but ultimately, I do think that that this thing is primed for like a like another big breakout. And if it does break out, I mean, you're going to have an implied target, like $150 or so higher than where it's currently at right now. Yeah, something like that. So what you're looking at around like 800 there, something like that, a little bit over 800 perhaps. All right, Noah Reason says STX Daily. Yeah, I have this one on my list. Again, not something that I own, but something that I like to watch. I think it's a cool idea, but doesn't seem like the strongest thing of all time to me, to be honest. Yes, you do still have trends in your favor here. However, just like Bitcoin at 106,500 US dollars, this thing below about 81.5 cents, you do lose your short-term uptrend, and at that point have to be expecting a correction back down to low 70s. Let's call it like 73 cents or so. To 75 cents. But of course, that's pending a closure below this last Monday's low. So sorry, not yesterday's low, but like the Monday before that is what I mean. Until then, yeah, you still got trends on your side. I do think at some point you are going to get a move ups, at least to the 200 simple, which is 1.25, somewhere between 1.25 to 130-ish region. So yeah. Other than that, kind of weird in the short term here. So I don't really have like a strong read on this one. If it wants to pull back, we know the trigger for it. We know where we'd be interested in it. Again, bless you, sir. And if it does continue from here, you'll know because it'll just trade back above this past week's high. That being about $1, just above $1. At that point, I think it's a foregone conclusion that you will see 1.25 to 130. It's kind of a weirder chart long term. Like it is an uptrend, but it's not nearly as strong as many of the things. So yeah, if I had to call it, is it putting in a low here? Probably yes, I guess, but I don't feel very strongly about it, to be honest. Anyways, Noah Reason is back. He's looking at Deep Daily. Okay, sure. Deep is something to do with Sui. Something to do with that thing. Anyways, both of them, Sui and this thing, kind of breaking down, not holding up as well as the rest of the market. At any rate, let me see what I have on my powerful lines here. My good old lines. Doesn't really make sense. Maybe I was looking at this chart over here. Let's see. Let me just pull it up from this. That'll be a little bit easier. Okay. I mean, you do have 1, 2, 3 lower highs right there, and that's typically how a short-term reversal does get beginning. I'm inclined to say that this thing does have a wick down to like 15 cents or so. You're already seeing 5-day stochastic momentum hinted across to the downside. Obviously, it's not closing tonight, but if it does close below 19 cents in the next 3.5 days, so I think that's Friday's closure, then that will turn down. I think at that point, you're at minimum going to be getting a move towards like 15 cents. Daily time frame, continues down as long as this thing's below 19 cents as well. So basically, as long as you're below yesterday's high, I kind of treat this one as a downtrend emerging right here. Theoretically, it is just a range, to be fair, from this point to kind of the highs over here. But, if it does trade below, like that's, that you got lower lows and lower highs. So have to be expecting a breakdown, and that would occur at 1560 again. So yeah, man, hopefully that was helpful. I really wouldn't be treating this one bullish as long as you're below this last week's high at almost 22 cents. Above there, okay, maybe it goes back up to retest those prior all-time highs, but I think this one's in a more corrective stance than anything else. Especially when you look at Sui as well, very, very similar in the sense that both of them have had a really difficult time kind of keeping it up recently. And Sui, yeah, I mean, it really does look like a local high here. And after hitting the range high, what's going to typically happen? You come down to the middle of the range. So where would the middle of the range be? Well, let's see. This one closer to $3, even almost. So, yeah, I would have to assume that deep would also come down to relatively similar level as well. And I think that this is kind of the one that is being indexed off of almost. Super Googly C says, "Hey brother, have you played any video games lately?" Actually, no, I did play Doom: The Dark Ages. It was fucking great, man. Oh my god, I love it so much. It's so fucking good. It really was. Doom is just it's the best game. It's totally testosterone fueled. It's beautiful, and it's also quite challenging if you put the difficulty up. I really like it. Anyways, Elden Ring Night Rain is coming out soon. I'm too much of a Forever Alone to play that game. I think it's like a co-op one or something. Can we have a look at? Oh wow, so a lot of people want to look at dollar yen. I wonder why that is. What's I mean, I guess people are following the potential blow up going on in Japan. Maybe shouldn't be laughing about that, but yeah, look, or I guess this is a lower term time frame. Oh, is it already making the move that we were speaking about? Yeah. So I'm guessing I'm getting a little bit late to this, but yeah, I do favor the upside here. I think that it will be getting up to like 144 and a quarter, something like that, man. I guess it's moving right now, so perhaps something's coming out. I really would be looking at the higher term timeframes here, just because, you got some more obvious signals going on there, and you also got the double derp of volatility. So I do think you at least have a short term reversal here. 144-ish, is certainly not out of the question. If things extend even more, then 145.5 would be where I'm looking towards. But yeah, that can take some time, obviously. Erica Krown Nano Cave says, "Krown, please review H bar on the daily and weekly, please. Medulla oblongata." Yes. Do you remember the medulla oblongata? We watched Waterboy. Like, what do you talk? Do you not pay attention during these movies at all? I've been trying to immerse Elsa in American culture as a part of her American trainings, and she doesn't even listen. Like, extremely rude. Anyways, H bar, the medulla oblongata. Yeah, that's why the alligators are very mad, because they don't have a toothbrush and they got all them teeth. Anyways, H bar. Similar one, man. I think that has hit a range high here. After that, I do think that you're going to be coming down a little bit. Find at least the middle of the range, which for this one, I'm just kind of guesstimating here is about 16 to 16 and a half cents. But it is a range after all. It doesn't really mean anything to come back down around there. For what it's worth, what we have as far as a range would be these as highs and these as lows. Or actually a little bit lower than that, coming down from here. At any rate, do I think it comes down to like 16 and a half cents? Very likely, yes. But that's not necessarily bearish as long as it holds this overall range between 22 to the upside versus 12 and a half to the downside. That it's just a consolidation. Just a consolidation, bro, and not necessarily bearish. Only bearish if it breaks below 12 and a half cents. And at that point, yeah, send it back down to hell. And of course, if it does trade back above the early May highs, or just the May highs here at 22.85, then, this thing can easily put in a move towards 32 to 40 cents region. But yeah, I'd wait for the range to be resolved. Something like that. As far as the monthly goes, I don't see anything that's super obvious here. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let's see. XY says, "Oh, you're from Singapore. Nice, man. We went to your country last year and it was great. It was amazing, man. It's like actually probably one of the best places I think we've gone to. It's really, really nice." Anyways, NNE Stonks. All right. NNE. One of my friends from college actually just moved to Singapore. I'm kind of jealous of him, to be honest. Wow, powerful. New higher low. This one's already approaching basically the prior closing highs. So, whether it breaks out here or whether it takes another month or two, I don't fucking know, but I would be expecting overall continuation of trend to new all-time highs. Who knows how long this takes. Hidden bullish divergence on this last weekly higher low. I am just focusing on the higher term timeframes here, to be fair. Monthly price action pivot is switching from here to here pending this month's closure. I think it's good. Quarterly looks like it probably will end up engulfing Q1. I have to say, man, I think that this one, I think that this one's in a pretty strong position here. I'd only get bearish on this thing if it honestly came down below this week's low, which I don't think is happening from here. I mean, you're going to see pullbacks along the way, obviously, but yeah, even that's pretty far away. I mean, that's all the way at $25. So yeah, fair enough. Crypto Clown World on YouTube says 1 million Bitcoins, long busting, not too late, not financial advice. Yes, indeed, sir. Singapore equal extreme penalties for weed. Yeah, I mean, not no place is perfect, obviously, but you know, Singapore is very, very safe, very, very clean. And it feels like a real city that people live in, you know, not like Dubai. Yeah, very clean. And and I really liked how there was like just green shit everywhere. You know, it's really nice. Like even in what is more or less a metropolis, like it was very, very green everywhere. Like I think a lot of the buildings were even required to have some sort of greenery on them. So yeah, Arturo says Expedition 33 turn-based game like old school Final Fantasy is pretty good. I haven't really gotten into turn-based games except for Knights of the Old Republic from like way back when. What's up, Sir Woods? How does it involve them? How does who involve them? Oh, what? That's crazy. McDonald's there. Wait, who the fuck? What is going on over here? Oh, McDonald's just tweeted at a project I'm heavily invested in. Holy shit. Let's go check it out. Let's go see. Let me bring up my Twitter derp over here. Do a little Twitter action. McDonald's? Hold on. Do I even have McDonald's? Whoops, I just pulled my thing. I just pulled my thing out. Is this it? No, that's not it. Wait, that's May 25th. Okay. What? I don't think so, man. Maybe you're talking about a different McDonald's. Oh, well, who knows? All right. What else we got over here? And blueberries. I love blueberries, man. Hey, it's all good, man. I'm just reading these conversations out of context. You get bored to death in Singapore very quickly. I mean, shit, dude. I don't think the place that I live in right now is necessarily exciting as well. Chase Craft says, when I brought up NFTs, I was talking about Krown's NFTs. I don't have NFTs, man. If you're talking about MetaSignals, that's like, you have to understand MetaSignals is its own entity. It's its own company. Yeah, man. Anyways, don't pull out your things, sir. I won't do it. I won't do it. I bought Krown's NFT for 350 nanos and not a cent less. Yeah. Yeah. Just in case if there's like someone claiming to have Krown NFTs, it's not me. I don't have them. I'm not interested in NFTs. It's not me. Like you're getting scammed, probably. Very likely you're getting scammed. 1 minute time frame, not 1 million position. Oh, my bad. Okay. I love rue berries. Yes, rue berries indeed. Long to cross of the 100 and the 200 SMA on the one. Yes, perfect. Very long-term moving averages for such a low-term time frame. It's if you're talking about MetaSignals, man, you have to, for fuck's sake, man, you have to understand MetaSignals is it's its own company. This is not my company. Like, it's in a company I've invested in, but I don't own, like, this is a different thing.
No, Peter is selling them.
Oh, Peter's selling them. God damn it, Peter, you bastard. Only Peter has the real Krown NFTs. Okay, I sent it to him in DMs. It's our little secret, or so I thought. But now he's sharing it with the world for 10 Ethereums. Like, you bastard. Some G, he's back. What's up, man? Tesla versus Bitcoins. Else is like squealing in the background. It's going to be hard for anything to really beat Bitcoin over a long period of time, right? Only short term can it do something. I mean, it literally looks like a shitcoin versus it literally looks like a shitcoin chart. You know, it does have these periods of major pumps, but well, good luck guesstimating those. You know, could it be doing another reversal right here? Is this potentially the next high or low? Possible, yeah, but I don't think it's wise to front run these potential reversals on these sort of things that, you know, just generally go down. If it takes out the December 2024 highs, okay, you do have a reversal. You maybe get another one of these epic pumps, probably somewhere around here. But yeah, man, it's really hard to say in the short term. I mean, in the short term, you do have a daily reversal, but it is an overall range play as well. So it's like hard to get excited about. If you can trade back above this high, then, you know, you got to break out at that point. You probably get a nice pump up somewhere around here. But a hard one to say. Like, I'm always going to bet on the same side of the general trend, and that has to be to the downside here. So if you do get one of these epic pumps, like, just understand it's, you know, it's a game of luck at this point, really. We'd probably be better off looking at Tesla on its own. again, if they both move to the upside, but Bitcoin just outpaces Tesla, then obviously that ratio will go down. And I generally think that for any sort of just general market move to the upside, Bitcoin is going to outpace nearly everything, especially more established things as well, including Tesla. So in the short term, I mean, overall, like I do think Tesla's going to get back up to 400 plus, but can it play at a pullback down to 300 first? I mean, easily, yeah. Maybe that happens in June. Hairy ball hair or no deal? I actually just shaved mine, so we're all good. Anyways. Anti-Pro says, if you see Bitcoin on daily time frame, it is repeating the chart pattern of March to April. You mean of this year? Let's see. Let's verify this statement before just blindly stating it. March to April. I really dislike these sort of things where it's like, it's just, oh, you're talking about March to April over here. I don't see it, man. This is a clear uptrend. This was a clear downtrend during this time. So I have to say, what? I have to say what? What the fuck? Yeah, man. I really don't like the fractal shit to begin with. It just doesn't really work. Especially when you look at it from like cycle to cycle or something like this. These are unrelated points. If you're talking about this March and this April, like it's just not the same, man. This is again a downtrend. This is an uptrend. They're just not even comparable to begin with. We have some sort of upside down comments. Anyways. It's reading some of these comments, man. It makes me really fucking, really question what the hell's going on. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Anyways, yeah, man, like for real. Anyways, the fractals, the old fractals. But, the thing is that price action is fractal in its nature, but you're not going to see like a fractal from over here. You're going to see it on the same rally, similar price action there. And you definitely don't want to make the same mistake that I see almost everyone fucking do, which is just like copying and pasting price action from a prior cycle and putting it over here. That's never worked ever. Like never, not once, not even fucking once. All of these cycles are different. Major, massive move to the upside, double bubble over here. This one, just a sustained move. This one over here, double top basically. This one over here. Again, big, long move, but with multi-month long correction, which we just haven't seen in prior cycles as well. So it's like, how are you going to compare this cycle to past cycles? Just they've never been the same in terms of actual price action. They've only been the same in terms of timing, which is, ironically enough, something that I am thinking that is going to change the cycle. So maybe I'm the fucking idiot. Yeah. What is going on, says Lenny. I don't know, man. What's going on with you? Anyways, Reefkeeper says, I've been gay for TA for quite some time now, but what happens if TA becomes gay for me? Well, then you have a real relationship. you can get married. You can get gay married, and then it's all good in the hood. Dream Tanks on YouTube says Bitcoin will bottom around 150,000 in 2026 to 2027, and everyone waiting to buy will buy higher, just like every cycle. People never learn. Okay. As long as you promise. Jesus. I always love like the confidence that some commenters have on these price predictions. Like, look, I'm not opposed to it happening. I'd be very happy if that happened, but you promise, right? Everything's a probability. There's no certainties in stuff like that, and to be honest, like I have a very hard time even seeing that to begin with. And I'll explain why, man. If we measure from cycle to cycle, high to high, you will see very quickly that, even expecting Bitcoin to go like even above $200,000 for this cycle is probably unlikely. This first cycle over here to the next cycle high, about let me actually put this in a price range. There we go. So this one, 7,400%. Okay, like really nice. Then from the next cycle high to the next cycle high, 1,000%. Okay, massive drop off by like what, 80%. something like that. Anyways, from the next cycle high to the next cycle high, what do we got? We have 340%. So we should be expecting definitely less than this if history is anything to be going off of. So let's just even assume that Bitcoin does do another 340%, which again would be very unlikely. Well, already 200% puts you above 200,000. So I think that's, unlikely, to be honest. 350 matching last cycle's gains from closing high to closing high, you'd have about a $280,000 Bitcoin. If we assume the same relationship that continues to diminish over time, which is diminishing by, oh God, I need a calculator. 1 second. All right. Math you cannot trust ChatGPT with, by the way. I'm just going to do 1050 divided by, let's just call it 7,400. Okay, so this is 14%. Like, this next cycle was 14% of the gains of the previous cycle, okay? So that means it was an 86% reduction. So 86% reduct. And I'm a reduct as well. Reduct, okay. Then we have this one over here. So 340 divided by 1050. Okay, so that's 3238. So we have, let's subtract that, or let's do 1 minus, so that's what, 68, 68% reduction. Okay, so 68% reduct, all right. So that is actually going down over time. Yes, okay. Yeah, okay, so I don't know, let's assume like a 50% reduction right here. Just carrying on with that relationship, close to it. That would be 170. 170. So let's see what that would put Bitcoin at. 160. Sorry. 165. If it went more for like a, 130% gainer, that would be 140. If it goes to 120, then that's a 100% gainer, almost. So yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so it's going to 1 million. Oh, nice one. The reduct and the redact. Yes, indeed. I promise Bitcoin will go up and then down, not necessarily in that order. I believe you. I do love those comments though, where it's like, look, Bitcoin's going to be crashing to 150,000 in 2026. Okay. It's like, all right, I believe you. I am convinced. Yes, this cycle is different, just like every cycle in the past has been different as well. People always say that this time is different, and it was the exact same thing in the past cycle. People said this time is different because Bitcoin's getting institutional adoption, which it was. Remember, Coinbase went IPO and Bitcoin got a futures ETF? These were big news, and that was driving that narrative. The cycle before that, right here in 2017, what happened? Bitcoin got its first institutionalized futures contract for CME Bitcoin futures, and that was supposed to change the game as well. It didn't. The one before that, I actually don't know what the narrative was over here, to be honest. But yeah, you see these things from cycle to cycle every fucking time, man. There's always a reason why this time is different. Now it's because the US is involved in Bitcoin. Yeah, it matters. Long term, that's going to be good, obviously. But like, don't act as if there hasn't been a really, really compelling narrative in the past cycles as well. There certainly has. So yeah. Remember the wise words a fish person said once, it's a trap. Could be a trap. Anyways, October to December is top, wherever it's at. Yeah, I'm actually more interested in timing as well. So fair enough. How does futures pump money into the actual market though? Oh God, okay. All right. I'll answer this question because surprisingly, it is actually not that common of a question and it's not so intuitive, but why do futures matter? Why would they pump money into the actual market? Well, sir, if you are trading a futures contract on Bitcoin, what are you going to be marked off? Think about it for just 5 seconds. If you're trading a Bitcoin futures contract at the end of expiration, what is it marked against? What is it marked against? Look, just think about it for a second. You'll understand. It's marked against Bitcoin, obviously. Bitcoin spot, meaning that if you're taking a futures contract, you're going to be playing out some sort of a hedge versus Bitcoin spot, meaning that you are going to represent that other side versus Bitcoin spot, because that's the only way to directly do that. And so whatever decisions that you make over there will naturally show up on the other side as well. Hype USD, when pullback. I don't know, man. This one's been pretty fucking crazy, hasn't it? Let me pull it up. 37 and a half. Yeah, I mean, this thing is in its own special rally. Looking at these volume bars over here, looking at that again coming after an all-time high, like I wouldn't be surprised if this thing is not topped. Is it going to pull back before it puts in another new high? I mean, could easily do that, but I don't like playing these sort of moves, man. We're already seeing volatility get to extremes, but I expect a move like this, which is, I mean, this is an epic move. I expect a move like this to continue to redline for, this could take like a week and a half from here. Something like that. And then at that point, you're going to see volatility cool off. And then, yeah, okay, you probably got a good probability of a nice pullback, but naturally that's going to just take time. So, maybe like early June, if it's going to happen, something like this. So, yeah. Oh shit, I just completely missed the last couple of super chats. My apologies. Arturo says AVAV, stock daily. Got it, man. AVAV. AV. So you just said stock and then I was putting in USD. I am a derp. Daily and weekly. From your experience, can defense stocks do well in stock market bear markets? Well, we can go look at the history of this. I'm guessing AVAV is a defense stock. I'm also guessing based off of the name, and it's been around in a bear market before, like a real bear market in 2008 and 2009. It was created or went IPO in 2007. It actually rallied up quite a fair bit. It did fall with the rest of the market, but it did not make new lows with the rest of the market, and hasn't really played, honestly, with the rest of the market, because from 2009, general market was straight up. This thing continued with this long-term sideways, but not even breaking out until like 2017, 2018. So, it does seem to me that defense stocks in general are less correlated than, most things to the general market. But as far as this thing goes, I actually think that this is overall long-term pretty good, but you have a very natural area of interest right here to the upside to define the next sort of breakout. And that's 172.5, meaning that if you can close above 172.5 or effectively not yesterday, but the Monday before that's high, I do think that you could have the next sort of upside move towards, 180, 190-ish region. Looking at the weekly, if you see this thing engulf basically last week's high, yeah, I do think that you would put in a move somewhere around 180 to 190-ish region. Monthly, reclaimed all major movement averages. Again, we still got another 3.5 days left to go for regular markets to close their monthlies, but assuming it closes here higher, I actually do think that it will put in that move. Follow the trend, man. Follow the trend. Overall, I think it's okay. Not the biggest winner in the world, but I like the trend, as long as it's got that nice long-term up and to the right trend, I'm good. And when I look at the quarterly, I actually think that, if this thing does pull back to like 150 or 155, that's fine. I think that this thing is ready to honestly trade back around these closing highs before. Pretty good. All right. Then we got Mr. Sir Woods. What's up, man? Memorial weekend in Finland or not? Unfortunately, Finns do not do that, actually. And they don't really seem to care much about their military, or at least the public, to be honest. Like to have a day to honor the military, I don't even think they have that for the people who fought in World War II. Do they?
I think so.
They should. I mean, they really should. Like, it was really impressive. Elsa doesn't know what day it is, which is very embarrassing. Anyways, you're looking at SPY futures. SPY futures. Last we looked at it, I believe we were looking for a bit of a pullback. We got a pullback on Friday or Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday right here. Wait, what? This doesn't look right. Okay, yes, Friday. That was your pullback right there. Yesterday, very nice move, and actually I think that this one's solidifying yesterday's move, honestly. I think that this thing actually might have already put in its higher low. Admittedly, I was looking a little bit lower, maybe closer to here on this gap fill to like 5,700. It got down to 5,750. Sorry, I was saying 5,720. This thing got down to 5,750. I think that's close enough, man. A little bit surprised, actually, because, while I do think overall these things are primed for higher, I really still would not discount a pullback. Like maybe it happens in June, you get another move down towards 5,800 or just above 5,800. But as far as the short term, like I do think that this is the next higher low. Anyways, you're looking at the 4-hour and the hourly. So these ones are actually putting in a reversal right here for the 4-hour time frame. You've got an inverted herp and derp. Price action pivots switching to a bullish bias as long as it's above 58.62, which is this morning's low. Of course, just need to see it trade back above this high at 58.95, and I think that this thing, comes back up to like 59.20, 59.30ish region. Maybe even just continues on, like pretty good. Maybe a stop along the way as well in the hourly time frame at the 200 simple. That's 59.06, just an area of interest perhaps. But with the way that the daily and higher term timeframes are shaping up, which I know you didn't ask about, but I do think deserve some recognition. This is really looking like it actually is putting in a low right there. Again, I know that I did say 57.20ish region. Fair enough. A little bit of a higher low there. Not bad indeed. And here's a quarterly, by the way. Again, quarterly doesn't end until June, but these are just fucking insane, man. Like I was even thinking of selling some stonks today for the first time in a very long time, and I do want to rebalance some things, but I don't want to be out of the market. So yeah. Anyways, let's see. Oh yes, okay. I do have a massage soon, so probably will shut this one off very, very soon. Ignacio says, "Hey, Sir Krown, are my coins in danger? Depends where your coins are, sir." Mr. Van Duysen says, "Top 3 favorite positions in bed? I need to know, man." I'll keep you updated, sir. No problem. Yo says, "Is Bitcoin going to pump or dump this week?" I mean, I think it's easier call on traditional markets right here. I really don't know. I really don't know in this case. If Bitcoin comes back down below, again, Sunday's low, okay. I don't know if I would call it a dump, but I do think you're going to get a pullback to lower 100s. And as long as Bitcoin's above there, I mean, there is potential for another pump here, I guess. But with this Bitcoin event, this Bitcoin conference event looming overhead for today, like usually these things are like sell the news type of events. But we'll see. I mean, we don't have to wait too much longer till the event officially happens, and then we'll have our answers there, I suppose. Pump and dump this week, says Crypto Clown World. Knowing Bitcoin, that's definitely possible. Definitely, probably even probable as well. It is what it is, man. I see some requests for virtual, some sort of AI agents, shitcoin, but let's see. Maybe it's actually good. Daily's good. Daily's ready for higher, man. Yeah, this is an easier call than Bitcoin, honestly. Hidden bullish evidence off the last couple lows. I think that this thing's moving up to like 2.5, 260-ish region. Yeah, not bad. And a good narrative as well. Only bearish if it comes back down below last week's low. Until then, not bad. More likely to play upside. Mark Harrison says, "Any thoughts on Ethereum hitting 2,700 in the next 24 hours? Oh, this is a fun game. Okay, Ethereum to 2,700 in the next 24 hours. Actually, definitely possible here. Okay, maybe in the next 48 hours, but let's assume that this daily hidden bullish divergence drive does confirm, which will confirm if Ethereum closes here or higher by end of day. So 16 hours and 31 minutes to go. If it does, I actually do think the next logical target will be 2,700. I think it probably even goes for a breakout from there as well. But yeah, 2,700 would be very reasonable at that point. Obviously, this will be massively invalidated if you see anything below Sunday's low, similar to Bitcoin. At that point, have to be expecting a correction down to like 23 or 2,200. So yeah. All right, cool, guys. Crypto Clown World says, "I'm balls in long." I like it, sir. I like it indeed. And then we got some very long and difficult to read Russian name, I think, with some good emoticons as well. All right. It's time for me to get off and get on with my usual day's activities. I'll be signing off on that note. As always, I want to wish everyone the best. We'll be back on tomorrow with a regular uploaded analysis. And with that said, I'd like to